and welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. Now, as promised, I'm going to be discussing Project 2025 today. Now, I know many people don't know what Project 2025 is. Now, I know Kamala Harris used this as one of her main talking points in the run-up to the 2024 election, but still, I don't believe people grasped what it really is. I have a one-line description. I got it from a BBC article, and it may help those of you that aren't familiar with this document. It might help you get a grasp on what it is. Project 2025. It is a 900-page policy wish list, a set of proposals that would expand presidential power and impose an ultra-conservative social vision on America. Now, the main goal of Donald Trump and the Heritage Foundation is to take over America with right-wing conservative ideas. Now, most of these ideas are founded in conspiracy theories and, sadly, bigotry and hatred and total disregard for the Constitution. We're seeing that play out in front of us right now. Now, remember, in the first 4 years of Donald Trump's presidency back in 2020, he didn't realize he only had 4 years. He didn't have time. He didn't have the structure around him that would support him to do these radical things. This time around, as many of you know, he placed in his cabinet yes men and women. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll do whatever you want. Not qualified. Matter of fact, all of them are unqualified. But they serve a purpose. They will do whatever he wants, no matter if it's legal or not. And we see that playing out as well. So the idea of this Project 2025 and Donald Trump today is to dismantle the federal government and replace it with a new vision of America, Donald Trump's vision of America. Now, I've stated on this program that much of these ideas are really founded in the Gilded Age in the 1890s and 1900s. Now, again, I'm going to be specific here, friends. It doesn't mean they went back, looked up the Gilded Age, and pulled these concepts directly from the 1890s. But the idea here is that this is exactly what they are. It's when industrialization and financialization was taking over back in that day. Men had all the rights. They had all the power. White supremacy was key. Women could not vote. Blacks were kept basically as slaves still. They were still being used by the white population. They were still being abused by the white population. This was not a good time for anybody that wasn't rich to live. This is what we're going to see here. This is what we're starting to see now. So they want to do these changes, Project 2025, without the consent of Congress or the American people. This is why there's so many executive orders. Now, I get comments of how Joe Biden used executive orders, and of course, everybody has in the past. And every year, the next president uses more. Today, in this case with Donald Trump, he's using them in a way no one's ever thought, to usurp or go around the Constitution. He's trying to tear apart the Constitution in his way so that he has more power. Now, as you probably already know, he promised to eliminate much of the federal government, the federal bureaucracy. I will tell you this, and I have a pretty much a number here. I will tell you this, that the federal government's workforce has remained largely unchanged in size for over 50 years. Even though the U.S. population has grown by 68% and federal spending has quintupled. So to say that there's too many people in the federal government is probably a lie, because right now it's the same number of people working in these bureaucracies, in these agencies, as did in 1968. So why would you go down the list and destroy them? There's a reason. Trump wants to eliminate every nonpartisan government agency and replace them with agencies that report directly to the president. In this case, Donald Trump would replace these people as needed by people who support him, by MAGA people, by loyalists. That's the whole idea. Now, of course, back in 2020, he also signed an executive order that he could fire anybody in the federal government, anybody that's a federal employee who works for the executive branch. Now, he couldn't do it. Again, a lot of things fell apart for him back then. He was unorganized, and he was pretty much not skilled in being a president. But now he brought on Elon Musk and Doge, and they took the ball and ran with it. And to date, they laid off about 63,583 people. Some of them are contractors. Now, I'm sure this is nowhere near the number they wanted to eliminate. But as I'm hearing, the end of Elon Musk and Doge might be coming up quickly. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure if they'll keep him through the first 2 years of Trump's basically administration or get rid of him sooner. There's a lot of heat, and rightfully so. People are angry with Elon Musk, and we all know what's happened to his stock, and of course some of his dealerships were attacked. I don't agree with doing that, but I'm surprised at how naive he is as to wondering why. He doesn't understand that when you deal with ruining somebody's life, there's a consequence. People aren't going to like you. Not that they liked him before, but let's be honest. When you kind of tear somebody's life up, you're not going to be liked. Now, again, I'm going to qualify this. Many people on the right love it. They cheer when someone gets laid off from the federal government. They're cheering because those money people, they think that they're really going to make out on this end. Somehow they're going to get big bonus checks because he's getting rid of everybody, and they deserve the money. The right-wing people deserve the money. They know how to run their finances and live in this world. Well, good for you, but I don't want your blood money. I don't want money taken from people from misery and from destruction. I digress. So he wants to fire everybody, really. He wants to fire as many people as he can. He likes it. That's his thing. We know that from his game show host days. And remember, we do have a president that was a game show host. You're fired. Feels good. Feels important. Feels powerful. I had to lay people off many times in my jobs, and I hated it. I hated to see people lose their jobs, no matter what. I digress. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and again, these are excerpts, people. This isn't the whole manual. I picked some things out just to give you an idea of how maddening these people can be, how ridiculous they are, how angry they are. On page 552 of this 900-page book, Trump wants to ban books. The right-wing Heritage Foundation wants to ban books. Now, people have been trying to ban books for decades, for a long time. This is not new. But what Trump wants to do is have the authority to basically ban books when he wants. Now, if you're a librarian and there's a book in there that they don't like, that right-wing people don't like, and you want to ban them, the librarian has the right to say, we're not going to ban that book. But maybe the mayor, the council can be involved, or the school district, maybe a governor. I'm not sure how all that works, but Trump wants to usurp all that, take direct control over the police force of that area, and do what he wants. Go take the books. We're going to put people in jail, arrest a librarian. This is crazy talk. As far as I know right now, even though the Constitution is now being hammered, we're still in America. We still have free speech. If you don't like a book, don't read it. If you don't want your kid to read a book, then you talk to him. And you walk through it with them, or you read it with them. This is work, though. The right-wing people don't want to work, although they want everybody in the world to work hard. They want to work at the things they need to work at. Talk to your children on how to deal with the issues of today. Don't just ban things or destroy things or outlaw things. And that's the problem with right-wing people today. They don't want to be involved in a process. They just want to be able to rail against it and then have it banned and have it stopped. They don't want to deal with their children reading a book that they might not agree with, to sit there and work with that child and say, this is something we don't really agree with. This is what these people believe. That's their right to do. But we don't want to have people to have rights. We want to tell them what to do. We want to demand what they can do. And we want a president who can force them to stop. They don't want Congress to legislate against it. They want the president to write an executive order and stop it today. Yeah, fascism. Okay, so what's the next thing this guy wants to do? Of course, with illegal immigrants. Now, this is really out of control with illegal immigrants. Let's face it. Deportation, that's not working out well. Now, we've seen how he's skated. We've seen how he skated around the Constitution and the judge's orders to turn around planes that they had sent out with supposed MS-13 members on it going to El Salvador. They refused to turn the planes around, according to the judge's orders, claiming that the Constitution doesn't apply over the ocean. Well, I hate to tell you, Mr. President, the Constitution applies to every American citizen anywhere in the world. Those planes should have been turned around. And here's the other thing about that. They said all these people were MS-13 members, but there was no evidence that they were. And when the judge wanted to see the evidence, they were told by Tom Homan, oh, wait a minute, the border czar. Oh, wait a minute. You can't see that, Judge. This is confidential. It's classified. Okay, so here we go again. Lies, and more lies. Tom. So this whole process, again, skirts around the Constitution. We don't want these people here, no matter who they are, whether they're MS-13 or not. We want them all out because they're brown, because they speak Spanish. They came here illegally. Well, according to the Indians, we came here illegally. So let's be clear, you're not really a resident here either, Mr. White Guy. I digress. He also wants to quell protests. Now, there were protests against Israel under Joe Biden's administration when Israel was bombing Gaza and killing innocent people. Trump said that these people should be arrested. They should be deported. Now, there were Americans protesting. In fact, I know personally people that were Americans that were from this country. They're protesting. They weren't Palestinians. They weren't people from other countries. There were plenty of people, plenty of Americans protesting. But of course, they won't tell you that. So Donald Trump wants to ban this. He wants to send in the military and arrest them all. Well, that's our right. And I've said this again. I'm going to say it again. I've said it on other videos. If we didn't have the right to protest, we would still be fighting the Vietnam War. See, protests mean something. They tell our leaders, this is not what we want. But our government today and Mr. Donald Trump wants to take that right away from us, especially if you disagree with him. He's already filed legal motions against companies, against other law firms, against Congress people when they disagree with him, against judges. He wants to stop free speech, especially when it's going to conflict with his policies or his desires to destroy this country. The next thing Donald Trump wants to do is get rid of the EPA, or at least defang it. He wants to destroy any environmental protection we have in this country because he is an opportunist. He doesn't care about environment. He doesn't care how it affects you. It's all about money, destroying timberlands and drilling for oil and gas anywhere. And he doesn't care what effect it has on the environment. So besides eliminating the EPA, he wants to eliminate all climate scientists within the government. He wants to replace them with climate change deniers. I wonder why. Once again, it's because he wants to drill, mine, destroy forest lands. Without any environmental protection, they can do whatever they want. And there won't be any scientists in the government that will contradict him. Now, if you don't know that there's climate change, you're living on a different planet. The very reason everybody's talking about Greenland today is because all the ice packs around the island of Greenland have melted. You now can traverse around there from Russia, from different parts of the Arctic. If it wasn't for climate change, this wouldn't happen. The science is solid. There is climate change right now. You can disagree all you want for the reasons of it, but the problem is that we have to protect our environment no matter what. We have to protect how many trees we have. Our streams have to be clean. We have to make sure that the air is pure. But we won't do that under Trump because there will be no environmental protection. You will have no one to call when streams are polluted or there's oil spills. No one will answer the phone. You're out of luck, environment. So these are some of the things I wanted to bring up today. There's a lot more. Like I said, I can't go down the whole list of things here. I don't have that type of time. I wanted to give you enough to let you know that this is a serious issue. This is a serious problem. I will tell you that I've been pretty much under attack here for maybe 2 months now, since I started to critique President Donald Trump's administration. And a lot of folks are right-wing people that are attacking me. And they seem to believe somehow that the law doesn't mean anything under the Donald Trump administration. They seem to always want to go back to the Joe Biden administration and blame him for something. I had my issues with the Joe Biden administration, but guess what? That administration's over. People have to understand the things I've mentioned here. Kamala Harris, if she was president, would not have been involved in any of this. We would have climate protection. We would not be banning books. We will not be going after people that have been here in our country legally for 25 years and deporting them. We will not be disobeying judges' orders. We will not be declaring war on Greenland, on Mexico, on Canada. We will not be placing tariffs on all of our neighbors. We will not be destroying our environment. Go down the list. Yeah, if Kamala Harris was elected president, none of this would happen. But people can't look at that. People have to go back and say, well, she did this and she did that. Kamala Harris didn't do any of that. She was a vice president, period. If you didn't like Joe Biden, fine, he's no longer president. But I truly believe that with all her faults, she still would have given us stability. If she had been elected, we wouldn't be siding with Putin against Ukraine. We wouldn't have been siding with Viktor Orban in Hungary. We wouldn't have been declaring war on all of our neighbors and friends. We would have had a stable country. But instead, we picked a guy who wants to radically change everything forever, who wants to rule over us using right-wing people that hate immigrants, that hate anybody that isn't like them. Sadly, this is where we're at now. We're in a country that's divided. Now, in 2026, it's up to you Americans to go back and vote, to make a change, to vote those people out that support these antics, that support Project 2025, that support conspiracy theories and hatred and racism. It's time to make a change because we are the resistance. That's all the time I have. God bless you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Don't forget to go over to my sister channel, Nights Around the Fire, and watch that episode with Ashley Hamilton. A link is in the description box to get to that video. Other than that, thank you for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you next time right here on The David Tomsic Show.